work on me, and I was ready to die, you know. But then, luckily, there was another date for the end of the world, so I was ready already, you know. So I said, well, I have a chance to still do a little bit more on this task. I'm ready to die, you know. So I worked more on my person, and the end of the world came again. A few sects, of course, burned their houses and drink Kool-Aid and these things. For them, it was the end of the world. And then I was worried. I said, so there is an end of the world for some people, and it is just like they thought it was. And in the earthquake in Mexico, just like an apocalyptic end of the world, for some people it was just like that. And right now in Haiti, in these days of the end of the world, it was for many people the end of the world, just as it's imagining really apocalyptic scenery. And here in Cancun, I saw another end of the world, and it's happening. And in the wars in Iraq and in Vietnam, and there is a permanent end of the world going on. We just have to realize these things happening. But on the other hand, as all of you, the world that I was born in doesn't exist. And it was dissolving so slowly, day after day, that I didn't realize that we are not watching black and white TVs anymore. And I could never dream of a computer in my house when I mean, NASA had these things. And cellular phone, Super Agent 86 had a shoe to call, you know, it was a cellular phone, of course. But the world that we live when kids doesn't exist. It ended, and we never saw when this happened. So yes, we are in the end of the world every day. Every day the world is ending. But also, we are called, since we were born, to the end of the world just because we have to leave the planet. So yes, I think this end of the world could be a very beautiful thing to put spice on our consciousness, to really value the time that we are here and the things that we have to do, the mission that we have to fulfill. That at this moment, I think our mission is to love one another. It's something really simple. We don't have to make it so complicated. Just to help each other. And if your circle is very small, it's just your kids, your grandmother, and just do it. Help each other. And if possible with the neighbor, and if possible to make groups, to help among groups. I really don't know how, but I see we have extraordinary tools in this moment. For example, the internet is still, and I hope it will never be controlled. We are free in there. We can have incredible ways of communicating. We could build amazing things. We have tools that they were science fiction. We could never imagine this kind of things. And people is chatting, you know, talking about, come on, we can create consciousness nets and roots and centers and universities and gathering groups and book sharing and some people are using it like that, but really in a small scale, we could really make something amazing. This is not control, it's freedom. And my invitation would be to try to do this, to try to talk about these things with people, I don't know, to plant a seed. Maybe if watered, a marvelous tree can come out of there. And talking about freedom, it's another subject that I have always been very interested in. The indigenous people that I have been working and growing with talk very much about freedom. And they even talk about this concept that is I still haven't really grasped it, that it's totality, but they're talking about total freedom, and that is related to death. And then I was thinking, but why the seek of freedom? So obviously we are not free, and that's why we are longing to recover and missing and wanting freedom. So how come we are not free? And we are not free because we have an ego, and we are locked up inside a very small box that has very tight limits, you know. And these limits are, I would like to make a Trip to Europe. No, but I'm afraid of planes, you know. But I would love to have a kid. No, but it's a lot of responsibility. But I would like to have my own business. No, but it's easier to have just my paycheck. But I would love to marry. But I'm afraid of a relationship. But I would like to divorce. No, but I'm afraid of loneliness. And, and it happens every day to all of us, to a lot of people, to all the planet. And it's a very small box. And all these limitations, you know. And with indigenous people, I learned a series of maybe games or techniques or practices, and even some of these things can be called shamanic practices or teachings or initiations. But they have shown us, if, for example, we are in nature, let's say, and we go to this incredible place with waterfalls, and you go to a waterfall and, whoa, this is really high. And you think, would you jump? Of course not. I'm afraid of that. It's very, very high, and I don't like heights, and I don't like the feeling of falling, and I'm afraid of that. Okay, so let's jump. It's crazy, no? But why? Because you found a limit. You found the cage in front of your face. Are you going to protect that limit? Are you going to say, oh, I love my cage, look at this very solid thing, and so I'm so safe in here? No. So better open this thing and jump. And what could happen? Yeah, you're going to maybe feel in your stomach something strange for a half a second, and then you're going to be down in the water with a smile this big and look up and say, wow, I can do these things. And you can get up on an airplane and jump in a parachute, and you can have a baby, and you can divorce, and you can have your own business, and you can marry again, and you can love your neighbor, and you can do all these things that you don't dare because there are limits. So with indigenous people, I learned this way of walking to freedom. And this is what freedom is about, to break the things that are limiting you. And indigenous people talk about total freedom because for them, once they achieve getting rid of all of these things, the really old people are looking to get rid of their body because they want to just become spirit. And for me, still, that is something huge that I haven't completely understood, but I kind of understand what this is about, you know. And it's the only thing that is going to happen to us. We will return to the spirit. So, of course, there is a moment when you have lived all your life, when you have fulfilled your mission, when you have created what you needed and had a family and loved, and you know that soon will be time to go, you are ready, you're working for total freedom and to surrender to it and to, with all your love, give your body back to Mother Earth, the call of Mother Earth. Because, you know, this is not ours. We think that this is ours, it's mine, it's me. It's not, it's lended. It belongs to Mother Earth, it's part of Mother Earth. We have been eating Mother Earth, this is her. It belongs to her, it's part of her body, it's part of her skin, it's part of her hair. It's not us, not even our name is ours. When we have to leave, our name stays here, our things stay here. We have to get rid of everything. And so I also feel to have death as an advisor, as Carlos Castaneda would say, is very, very important because it teaches you to be humble, it teaches you to look for freedom, it teaches you to love, to care, to try, to make an intent, to forgive, but very important, to get unattached. One of the reasons we don't let our ego world is because we are attached to it. We are really attached to being afraid. We are attached to being jealous. We are attached to envy. We are attached to laziness. We are attached to these things because to jump a waterfall, it requires of an effort. To not get in a fight with a person, it requires of an effort. To love a kid, it requires of an effort. So these are the battles for freedom and the battles of unattachment.